I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, April 16th Brooklyn City Board of Education regular meeting. Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hubble. Here. Mrs. Rafter.
Here.
Mr. Ezerudi.
Here.
Ms. Kroll.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will start with comments from visitors. In order for the board to fulfill its obligations to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation as it pertains to school-related topics will be permitted at each meeting. Each person wishing to address the board will approach the podium, state his or her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person will be allotted 3 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have had the opportunity to do so. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board. Okay. I will move on to the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Kroll, Board of Education. Just a couple updates before I turn it over to Mrs. Colleton and Mr. Larson on a presentation for this evening. Heard from the Board of Elections today. The bond issue had a recount. There were no changes as far as the recount goes, and so the bond issue officially passes. They will certify the results next Monday, April 22nd, and then once we get that certification, we'll begin the process for the bond issuing the bonds and things like that. So once we have an update, we'll turn it into a work session. But that's the official news. Notified families, community members this afternoon with a message that you have in front of you, and so very excited for the future with the renovations. Power of the Pen, new information today. We had two state qualifiers for our Power of the Pen, 7th grader Morgan Cummings and 8th grader Calissa Schillinger, and so congratulations to them. We'll have them at a board meeting here in May to do a little honoring of them, along with our other state qualifier early in the year, Adam Cowper from bowling. So we'll have those their recognition later in the month. Very proud and happy to report that Brooklyn School received the Purple Star Award. So the Purple Star Award is an award from the state of Ohio on school districts or schools that honor their military families, military activities. Kudos to Mr. Bolin, Veterans Committee team, Ms. DeLees, who helped with the application process, and so this is a big deal. This is, I think, the first time we've done that. We've had this in Brooklyn, but I think it goes to show the special attention towards all of our families, and so kudos and congratulations to them on that achievement, and to our kids and our families too, who are our military families. There's a sacrifice there, as you know, Ms. Kroll, that I don't understand, and so kudos to them for that award and acknowledgement. So great job. Last thing, renovation. Renovation of the high school restrooms are in process. All the demolition is basically complete for at least 6 of the restrooms. They'll be working on now the remodel over the next 6-7 weeks for those 6 bathrooms. They'll start demolition on the other 4 bathrooms after school lets out. So that project is up and running. Any questions on anything before I turn it over to Mr. Larson and Ms.
So
Colton?
in the meantime, they go out to porta potty out there?
No, that's right. Yes. So at this time, I want to introduce Mr. Larson and Ms. Colton. They're going to talk a little bit about the Career Technical Programming Grant that we received from State of Ohio in the amount of approximately $266,000. So this is a significant grant towards renovation and programming and people and software and things like that. So happy to turn over to them. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Polaris. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy and excited to talk about this with you all. This grant opportunity came along probably like around November or so, and the turnaround time of it was pretty quick. I mean, we needed to have it submitted before winter break, which was the 19th. So we really looked at this grant when it was first introduced, and we said, why would we want to do this, and why do we need to do this? And we said, gosh, we're looking at our programming that we're offering students, and we want to just make sure that we are exposing them to really lots of options and choices. And this grant would help us create some of that programming that would help to facilitate that. Another part of the why was that we really wanted to provide some pathways for our students to graduate, those who really needed some assistance, not only for grad plans, but also for some post-graduation plans. We really wanted them to have a skill set to walk out of here and to be able to get a job that pays a little bit higher wage. So those were some of the reasons that those were our whys. So when we first looked at this, there were a lot of requirements, and some of them, and we've got them on there, one of them was that, when you were looking at introducing programming, industry recognized credentials, they wanted us to focus on in-demand jobs, top jobs in Ohio put out by the governor's office. So we really had to kind of really look at our programming and see, gosh, what can we embed and which credential can we embed where based on what's Ohio looking for right now. Another requirement was that we needed to use the money for professional development for teachers, for facilities, for materials, and then operational costs. So we had to itemize all of those items on there. Another big one was that no matter which career cluster we introduced and said, hey, we're going to offer programming in healthcare or advanced manufacturing, we also had to get 2 letters of support from industry and business partners. And that was kind of tough and daunting, but it was great. We connected with business advisory councils, and we got the support of Senveo, of Magnet, of the Cleveland Clinic, of the Brooklyn Rec Department, to name a few. Also, on behalf of OHSAA, we had Mr. Neal write a letter of support as well. So lots of business and industry partners supported us in this endeavor. We also had to gain, and this was a biggie, we had to gain the support of our career technical partner in education, and that's Polaris. And so from the beginning of the project, from the beginning of the grant discussions, we had Polaris in mind, and we're collaborating with them to kind of say, hey, here's what we're thinking of. What are your thoughts? Would you support us on this? So we really, really had their support from the beginning on all of this. And then the timeline for this was, introduce your programming this school year, which had to be done, starting 24-25, and then we have 3 years to make sure that we put into place all the programming that we are mentioning. So we've got about 3 years to come up and implement all the programs from the grant. And then Mr. Pearson's I'm going to turn that over to you.
So just a couple things here. So industry recognized credentials, just so we're clear on this one, just all it does is it shows that when they're credentialed that they have a basic competency within that particular field. So it's just one of those things that they can typically earn when they're over at Polaris. We're not going to follow the exact same Polaris model that you'll see these on the upcoming slides. We'll have focus areas, and it'll be a little bit more varied as to what they're able to get at Polaris necessarily. But like it says, it just verifies students' qualifications and their competency within that particular career field. Who's eligible? I would say that up to this point, we predominantly focused on those students who had not picked a particular pathway after graduation. And up to this point, with regards to our industry recognized credentials that we've been offering within the building. What I like about this is you'll read in that bullet point, it says all high school students will have an opportunity. We are going to, get a little bit further in here, embed these courses so that all of our students, even if they don't necessarily hit the 12-point credentialing piece, they're going to have some type of credentialing before they leave the building, most likely, because a lot of these will be embedded within programs that they will get an opportunity to see. And then what Ms. Culliton pointed out, which is like this just helps our students crystallize a little bit more of what it is that they're going to be doing following graduation. Why should students earn industry recognized credentials? For some of them, it's a practical thing. They need to do this as an alternative pathway for graduation because they maybe didn't hit the scores that they needed to hit in certain tests that the state values. So that's a real thing that we want to do, but that's not the only students who will benefit from it. It also provides them an opportunity to chase their interests a little bit closer. So we're going to talk about some of these things that are coming up. I think there's certain offerings that our students are really, really going to enjoy. And it allows them an opportunity to jump into this and to learn a little bit more on their own as well. The one thing I want to point out is in the very last point, how do students earn industry recognized credentialing? We're currently in the process of embedding these into existing courses. And you'll see that on the next couple slides. The words that are in parentheses are the courses that we had existing that we're going to try to put these into, or that we will be putting these into, so that our students can start earning these credentials right away as opposed to having to create brand new courses from scratch. So the first one that we have, and you guys can see these in the programs of study as well, is the health and career pathway. So we're going to be embedding bloodborne pathogens, stop the bleed, and the CPR first aid training within our health program. The OSHA 10 will be embedded in the Physical Education 3 along with the officiating license. And the officiating license is coming through a company called RefReps. And our students can choose to become skilled within a particular area. So by the end of that course, in theory, they could be certified as referees within basketball or soccer or football or baseball or softball, for example. So that's an opportunity for them, and they can start applying those skills right away and start earning income right away. Certiport communication skills for business is going to be, actually it says health up there, that's incorrect. That's going to be actually through our international business. And then the student leadership excellence is going to be currently embedded through the ELA 4. Before I move any further, I want to shout out a couple of staff members who have been more than willing to take up their share of making sure our students can get this. And so I mentioned the health piece. That's going to be predominantly Melanie Fleischer. She's going to handle a lot of the health in PE3. With the Certiport Communications, that comes through Ms. Wong, who teaches international business in addition to the Chinese language courses. Student Leadership Excellence, ELA 4, will predominantly fall on Mr. Hulko, but also his wife, Mrs. Hulko, has gone through the training for that, in addition to Mrs. Fleischer, who have been able to kind of make sure that they have that foundational knowledge. All right.
And just a couple of, you'll see engagement there, and we have room to grow, but I wanted to really include that piece in there. Two of the pieces, we've created these pathways, but really, it's really important for us to have students be engaged in some sort of a shadowing or internship, some sort of an experience to really apply some of the skills that they've learned and the knowledge that they've learned. And so we really wanted to, we're building that. And as we work with our industry partners. So for the health career pathway, we have Metro Health, who is supporting us. We also have Brooklyn Rec. The officiating license, we had lots of conversations with Mr. Abruzzi, who kind of said, I said, what are you looking for? What are you, in terms of, are you looking for basketball, volleyball, what kind of coaches, what are you looking for? So we had lots of conversations, and he said, hey, I want you to kind of try for this. And then when students are licensed, I want to take them, and I want to give them some practice and go ahead and do this and try this out here, and I will use them. And so that was really helpful to connect with him on that one.
Hospitality and tourism, this is the one that we've probably been doing some variation of the most recently. So we had a course over the last couple of years called the Brooklyn Career Connections Academy. And within that course, in addition to getting them real experiences, helping them earn the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal, bringing visitors in to come speak to our students that have some capacity within some type of hospitality or customer service component to it. We've also been offering the Rise Up credentialing for both retail industry fundamentals and customer service and sales. And we've been doing that for about the last 4 years with our students, but now we're going to elaborate on it a little bit more. You saw the Certiport communications in the last slide. We'll be putting it into this pathway as well. Same with Student Leadership Excellence, and same with the OSHA training and the CPR and first aid. Again, student engagement, we're going to build on what we've already been doing, which is those shadowing experiences that they've had, getting them into internships, giving them an opportunity to interview. We've had a really good communication and really good relationship with Polaris, and they've showed up several times. And they will continue to show up to help our students work on those interview skills, making sure they have resumes, that they understand what kind of questions will be coming their direction. You know, what's the difference between, I think I mentioned it in the last presentation too, what's the difference between a job and a career? You know, and those questions when you go into those interviews will be a little bit different. And then you can kind of explain a little bit more of
Yeah,
the
so
partnership.
just as of last week, I'm always knocking on doors, and I'm just gonna pull over to businesses and say, hey, can you help us? Can our students come to you? And so now, I had a meeting with the Fairfield General Manager Cynthia Eckhart last week, and I've never been in the Fairfield Inn, and for that I thought, for this pathway, I thought, wow, how cool if our students can kind of go there and see it in action. And so I had this conversation with her. Well, first of all, I walked in, and the place is beautiful and clean, and that's what I first said to her. And she goes, we're top 20 in the state of Ohio, for just so you know, we're the top Fairfield Inn, top 20. And I said, wow, I didn't know that. What a great, hotel to have here. And so we talked about, hey, can you support our students? We're doing this Rise Up programming, but it would be wonderful if we could bring our students over to you. She said, absolutely. I'll talk about all the different departments that we have. They'll get right up front in the front desk. I'll feed them a snack and then do a Q&A with them. And so that was just, I just informed the principals last week that that'll happen probably May after testing, when things slow down a little bit. So that's upcoming and something new that's happening soon. Business marketing.
Yep. Go ahead. Yep.
Okay, I'll do it, I think. So the next pathway that we have is the business marketing finance pathway. And again, a couple of those are already embedded in what we're doing, but the new one that we're adding is the Rise Up Warehouse Industry and Logistics. And it was funny, I had conversations with every staff member to explain the program and to take a look at the training. And lo and behold, on Friday, I had a conversation with one of our staff members who's going to be teaching, and I said, hey, are you comfortable with this? And she said, absolutely, I'm excited, I'm ready to go. And then I had an email from the vendor saying, listen, we're changing this up a bit. We're adding supply chain to logistics, and because that's what's needed and that's what's in demand. And so I said, oh boy, let me have this conversation with the teacher again. I said, think about it. Let me know what your thoughts are, because it's going to be a little bit more rigorous. And she responded immediately, but I thought she would take the weekend to think about it. She said, I want to do it. That's even better. So that was really exciting to get that response from that staff member. And so for that one, again, Certiport communication skills, because you know what? Everybody needs to know how to communicate, no matter which business career cluster you're going in. That's a cross-cutting credential that goes, that follows every career cluster. OSHA 10 training, again, that's happening in our PE3. Student leadership excellence, I think Mr. Larson mentioned that with Mr. Holkland, Mrs. Holkland, Ms. Fleischman. And then CPR first aid, we're partnering with Metro Health. They're going to come in and they're going to do that programming during our health for our students. So those, and our industry partner for that is Senveo. They've come up and participated in our college and career fair. They've also come in to do some guest speaking for our students, and our students have gone over there to check out the facility and just see what they really do. So that they're a great local industry partner for us. This one, advanced manufacturing, was on hold for us because we weren't sure. We didn't find out until very end of February whether we were going to get the grant or not. So lo and behold, the timeline for this is a little bit different because it needs a little bit more, and we need to do a little bit more planning and prep. But in terms of this year, we're going to focus on our facilities improvement, and so we are doing an expansion of our computer lab. We are doing some wiring. We're purchasing computers and TV and equipment, and the total for that was about $115,000. So that will be supported through the grant. Moving down the line a little bit, and this is one when I was talking to all the vendors, and again, Polaris was a huge help in suggesting these credentials for us, certifications for us, and so we're going to be doing slide caliper and micrometer measurement. We're doing tape rule angle measurement. I had to learn a lot about torque certification. I knew nothing about it, any of these, quite honestly. So I increased my knowledge of what this means and what it requires and what it means for our students. Hand tool identification, multimeter certification, and all of those kind of equal total up to 12 points for credentialing. And again, the student engagement piece that we don't want to forget. We want to have our guest speakers, we want to have kids shadowing, doing internships, and our students have been out to Magnet this year, and Sunday, of course. Some additional programming from the grant, there's also, and again, this was a conversation with Polaris, and they said, boy, we kind of approached them and said, hey, we would like to get a CBI, a career-based intervention instructor. And they said, well, yeah, we kind of support you doing that, and gave us our support. And so we did. We put in for that, and that requires a teacher getting certification. We looked at Kent State. It's 11 credit hours. The grant covers the tuition. So we're excited about that. We may have somebody who wants to do that and is excited about doing that, a staff member. So that's encouraging.
And just real quick on the career-based intervention, earlier in the year I got an opportunity to sit and speak with the principal over at Berea and see what it is that they're doing with their career-based intervention. And they had an opportunity to send multiple staff members over there to go get that certification. And it's really opened up a lot of opportunities for their students and for their staff as well. So we think by bringing somebody on board here, it'll be a really big boon for our students. So just so we're clear on that part.
This one is, so I also was in touch with O'Neill Healthcare, and and I've met Richard O'Neill through the Business Advisory Council meetings, and so I said, hey, we're thinking of writing this grant, and we have students who go to Polaris for the STNA program, but not all are accepted, and they have a cap, so and so a lot of our students are left behind. I know that you offer something in North Ridgeville. Are you doing something? He goes, well, lo and behold, we are doing something. I'm going to be opening up another training center in North Olmsted near you guys. And so if we do that, I'll let you know. I think that program costs about $350 per student, but gets them in 2 weeks a certification as an STNA. And, he said he would kick in. He said if students then work at his facility for 1 year, he will give them $5,000 bonus, and which is what he does for some Polaris students. And I said, absolutely, we'll take it. So that's a little bit of icing on the cake for that. So that's kind of what we have in mind. Matt, did I miss anything? Is there anything else you want to add? There was a lot going on there. What about you? Do you have any questions at this time? What are you thinking?
It's exciting.
It's exciting.
There's a lot.
It's exciting.
So how often are they going to be shadowing at these companies?
Yeah, we would have to decide that and work with student schedules, is taking a look at the students' schedule, their availability, and then we're also looking at, one of the things that we had to consider was, well, how are the kids going to get there? If they're not driving, if they're not, what are we doing? We're looking into bus passes for high school students, and those are in the works. Some of them are walking distance, so we can kind of do that. And so I think it's dependent on student schedules, and the businesses I've learned are pretty flexible, and they're, whatever works for you guys. So very open to that. So that is something. It would be during school hours? It would be during the school hours, but there's always opportunity for after school hours and weekends as well. I did, there was Headquarters Salon. A student was interested in going there to get their barber license or something, and I talked to the owner, and he's like, they can come anytime. They can come, the parent, if the parent's willing, they can drive them during the weekend, evening hours. So a lot of the business owners are pretty flexible, is what I'm learning.
I'm super excited.
It's pretty sweet.
I had two sisters and a sister-in-law that worked at O'Neill before it was O'Neill, and they did it, during the school. They were both seniors working there, after school, and I think they actually did like a work-study program, and they really liked it, and now they're on to bigger and better things, and I think the, I keep calling it industrial arts, but like the one with all the tape and rule and angle, like that, I think, I remember taking something like that in school. I don't remember a whole lot, but I'm just saying, I think that's pretty awesome. I think that's a really good class to teach things that you need to know that you don't really come across every day. I think that's really cool. So that one's exciting, but this is really cool.
I would say we were just to mention, we were one of 2 schools in Northeast Ohio that got the grant. So, kudos to both of them, Matt and Sapria, and then kudos to Polaris for helping us be partners on this project. So we are excited.
And I'll tell you, I was in Columbus for the last 2 days, and I drove here from there, meeting with some workforce development policy makers, and had an opportunity to interview with them and talk to them one-on-one. And we talked a lot, and I said, what do you want us to do? What are you looking for from districts moving forward? And they said, a couple things. You need to, if you can connect with your industry business partners to see what skills they need and talk to them and have conversations with them, that's huge. And also, we've got the graduation plan for all students, but I also want you to think about a career plan 5 years down the line. For the job, you're preparing students, I want you to think ahead 5 years down the line, what are they going to be doing? So I said, okay, I'm gonna, as we plan, we'll keep those things in mind.
Would this be something that you can connect with trade unions, like the electrician union, public plumbing, and all that?
So actually, this is the second year that we've done the E4B program with the ESC. And they do a really good job of making sure that they bring those unions in so that our students, when they're doing those interviews or they're getting those experiences, especially at work fairs, that they get to bump shoulders with those folks and ask them, direct questions and things like that. So they're normally a pretty steady presence at those kinds of events. And I believe we've had them also represent themselves here.
Yeah, they were here.
Right, yeah.
They were here
Exactly.
with us.
Yeah.
And they've also come in to speak to our students during the BCCA
Yeah,
class.
exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kroll, that's my report.
Thank you. We will move on to Mr. Shearhart and the treasurer's report.
Okay, this month was kind of a light month. The interest for this month was $118,789. That brings us year-to-date for interest revenue to $637,824. Let's see, we have received the first half of 23 real estate tax for this year. It's a year in arrears, so when I say 23, it's actually the money this year from last year. So we have received that. Let's see what else. The expenses for March 31st, we are at 74% for the whole year, so we are running pretty true to what the budget is. I can talk about that later. So, and that's my report.
Thank you. Okay, comments from board members and board committee reports. Tonight we will start with Ms. Rafter.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Kroll. I think first and foremost, I just want to thank all the residents for getting out and voting on March 19th, and to all those voters who supported us through the bond issue and voted yes. It's being on the board for the first time and having this, for several of us, and having this this board issue up, it really gives me promise and hope that things moving forward, it's going to be good. And so I just want to thank everybody. I want to congratulate all the Brooklyn High School and middle school student athletes who participated in our winter banquet. Good job to our students, and there was a number of them recognized for being on the merit and having grades to be on the merit and the honor roll. And a lot of them received accolades for their performance on the court or on the mat, and I was like seeing that with our kids. What else do I have here? Kerm and I, we attended a walkthrough through the library for future planning for our early childhood center and family resource center. It's very exciting. I've been in that library a million times, and to actually really go through a tour of it to see what else is behind, the counter, behind some walls, I can only imagine good things for us to come once we're able to get started with that. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Hezrooney.
Thank you, Mrs. President. Mr. President. All right, first of all, thank you so much for everybody supporting the bond issue and all those that helped with getting the bond issue passed. When I was running, I kept saying the momentum in this district, you could feel it, and this just solidified it, and I'm so excited about what's going to be happening in the next few years. And we really, really appreciate everybody supporting that. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m., the Beauty and the Beast play is going to be on. You gotta come see my kids, 2 of them are in it, so please come and cheer for them. I'm really excited for it. A really big shout out to Mr. Boland. He's doing a basketball program every Thursday. I got 2 kids in that as well. It's amazing. I mean, and he's got some teenagers there helping out, and they're amazing too. But just seeing, what do you got, 60, between both grades, 60 kids, something like that?
70.
I mean, it's just,
All Brooklyn kids.
and it's just awesome. So if you can, just visit, check that out. It's really, really good. And Jason's got his couple kids in there too. And then I know this is going to be on the agenda later, but congratulations to Sue Grodek for the Fulbright scholarship that she was awarded. That's amazing. Brooklyn's got big things going on, man. I'm just so pumped. So I just wanted to say a shout out to her as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. President. To piggyback off of fellow board members, thank you to everybody that supported this bond issue. This is going to especially turn this high school around tremendously. You'll be able to see through the windows again. It's going to be awesome. So just thank you to everybody that supports the school and just helping us thrive. Congratulations to our students who were named Scholastic Art and Writing Award winners. Another tremendous honor. Seems like our art program just keeps flourishing. I'm not quite sure if we addressed it last time. I think we might have been right there, but thanks to everybody involved in the Right to Read Week. Great opportunity to read to my son's class, and there's just everything that was going on. That magician guy throwing cards was tremendous.
Is that card still up there in the
I don't know. Is it? Is it still stuck up there?
Dude checks in with me regularly.
That is crazy.
We'll get it down during the renovation. We will take care of it during the
That
renovation.
is crazy.
I also want to thank Mr. Boland. My son Max especially has just newfound love for basketball. So if you did, maybe Stockton. So if you didn't get a chance to do it this year, hopefully we're doing it again next year. This is a great opportunity for kids that didn't have the opportunity to play basketball to work with Mr. Boland. Congratulations to Santana Salmons, a senior, for breaking the Brooklyn High School record in the 100-meter dash. He already broke both the records that I had held in the past.
Like you personally?
It was a relay team that I was on, yes.
Mr. Hubble could move in
Why
the
are
day.
you laughing so hard?
I was
Because I thought maybe he meant as a coach, but
No,
he's
no.
like, no, it was me.
I was much faster 100
Mr. Hubble
pounds.
could move in the day.
But Santana broke this individual record, which has been standing since well before I went to high school. So congratulations to him. Well-deserved, great kid. And last but not least, happy birthday to my oldest son, Hunter, who turns 8 tomorrow. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. I do not have a council report. The Domestic Abuse Commission did meet a couple weeks ago to discuss a few things that we want to kind of bring awareness to throughout the community. And then one item was that they did want to look to, of course, partner with the schools on topics that would, impact our children, such as teen dating violence. And so those are things that we're going to look at the next few meetings and bring to the table. Also, I want to say thank you to all who supported and continue to support the Brooklyn City School District. I'm really excited to start upgrading the facilities and the programs with the technology grant. And that is all I have. Thank you. We will move on to minutes of approval of minutes and financial statements, and Mr. Mazruni volunteered to be the reader tonight.
Sure, I got you. All right. Resolved that the minutes of the Board of Education meeting be adopted and all action taken by the Board of Education at said meeting is hereby reaffirmed and approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the financial statements of receipts and expenditures for the month of March, including all purchase orders paid and all then and now statements for the month of March as submitted.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby commends Sue Grodick for being awarded the Fulbright Scholarship, a program through the U.S. Department of Education. Mrs. Grodick was accepted into the Fulbright Hayes Seminar Abroad program in Finland for 4 weeks this summer.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second? I'll second. Questions, comments?
Congratulations.
Congratulations, real quick, to Emily McQuiston, also received this award before she was with Brooklyn, but this will be our second staff member, so to speak, that has earned this award. So this is, I will tell you, this is prestigious,
Very
and
deserving.
Sue does an amazing job up there, so congratulations to her.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Sue.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby commends the students listed in the attachments for their academic and athletic honors.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
I just want to say real quick, the letters you send to them, I got a niece and a son that got those letters. They love it. So thank you very much for sending the letters, and congratulations to all of those.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby commends the following Brooklyn City School students' achievement as listed below. Can I please read it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Miriam Al-Baghdadi, Jackie Rodriguez, and Kalissa Schindler for the Scholastic and Art Writing Awards.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Just one comment to him, with the art and writing awards, Mrs. Becker, Mrs. Lowell, Mr. Casper do a great job with the art piece with our kids, and it's just another reason why performing arts and the arts are so important for our kids. One shout out to Mrs. Becker. Mrs. Becker, there was a art show on a Sunday at Case West Reserve, and she made sure she showed for our kids. So couldn't have better staff members representing Brooklyn City Schools and working with our kids.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby commends the following student achievement as listed below. The 2024 Polaris Palooza Robotics Competition for the 8th grade team, Jocelyn Garcia, Adam Shafke, and Elizabeth Jakowitz.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby commends the following achievements as listed below. Ava Chin, pre-nursing. This is for the National Technical Honor Society. Ava Chin, Sebastian Crespo, Andrea Guzman, Danny Pham, Aaron Sharp, Florence Soko Baru.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education authorizes the superintendent to enter into agreement with JR Funding Support Services for providing E-rate support services for the 2025-2027 funding years. Agreement on file in the Treasurer's Office.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Just for those who don't know what E-rate is, E-rate's a federal funding source that is allocated to school districts for technology upgrades is the easiest way. Jack, I've worked with him in previous school districts. It's a small consulting fee, but he helps navigate the requirements and the posting. It can get pretty technical, so, you know, when we're dealing with $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of potential reimbursements, a $1,200 consulting fee is worth the investment for us to make sure that we're doing everything right from that stand. So he helps us navigate the portal and the grant application process for that.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter an agreement with Suburban Transportation for transportation of identified Brooklyn students for the 2025-2025 school year. Agreement on file in the Treasurer's Office.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby amends resolution number 23 sorry. Oh, I did this one, thank you. Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached district technology plan for the 22, the school year, right?
22 through 26 school
22
year.
through
Yes.
26 school years.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second? I'll second. Questions, comments?
This will be modified every so often as we get other initiatives, but this is general, the plan D Mr. Walson put together for the district.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby amends resolution number 23-09-256 to include an updated roster as attached in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code Section 3327.02 and the procedures set forth by the Ohio Department of Education. The board, after having considered multiple factors, is authorized to determine the impracticality of transportation for students eligible for transportation under Revised Code 3327.01 as noted.
Keep going, okay. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second? I'll second. Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves granting continuing contract to the certified teachers named below for the completion of all documentation as required by the Ohio Revised Code effective for the 24-25 school year as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Just want to say congratulations. So continuing contract is a Ohio Revised Code that allows them to move from limited, which limited means that we would approve them every year as a certified teacher, to now continuing contract, which we will no longer required to approve them on an annual basis. All four of these individuals have added such a tremendous amount of knowledge and instructional pedagogy for our kids. They do a great job, and this is a well-deserved honor for those staff members.
Congratulations.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves granting a limited contract for the 24-25 school year for the following certified teachers as noted. Compensation and or steps to be determined by negotiated agreement and on file in the Treasurer's Office.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Abstain.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
And Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the granting of a limited contract to the following certified personnel for the 24-25 school year as tutors to be paid from the annual federal Title I funds received by the school district as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
And Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached exempt employment contracts effective August 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2026 for the following employees. Contracts on file in the Treasurer's Office.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following classified resignation: Jessica Effinger, cleaner, effective at the end of the day, March 28th, 2024.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
And Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the employment of the following individuals to perform summer cleaning for 5 hours per day plus additional hours as needed beginning June 10th through August 9th, 2024 as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the employment of the following individuals to perform summer food service for 3 hours per week as needed beginning June 10th through July 29th as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
This, our summer food helps support the city's summer enrichment program. So we help provide some bag lunches for throughout the week so that, you know, they can have extra food for kids, so.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the employment of the following substitute personnel for the 23-24 school year as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the employment of the following classified personnel for the 23-24 school year contingent upon successful completion of background check and verification of credentials as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following persons for the 24-25 school year supplemental coaching assignments with the provision that such individual comply with all Ohio High School Athletic Association rules and regulations and State Department of Education regulations pertaining to proper certification and/or first aid training and fulfills the requirements of the job description attached to their supplemental contracts as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following persons for the 23-24 school year supplemental assignment with the provision that such individuals comply with all rules and regulations and State Department of Education regulations pertinent to proper certification and fulfills the requirements of the job description attached to the supplemental contracts as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Ms. Crow, with the World Language Honor Society advisors, we missed that at the beginning of the school year. They've been doing the work all along, so we're just kind of going retro from this school year.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the resolution accepting the full year amount, 25 amounts, and rates as determined by the County Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county fiscal officer.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby enters into an agreement with Healthcare Process Consulting for the purpose of HPC assisting the district in managing the Ohio Medicaid program in order to procure federal Medicaid reimbursement for Medicaid eligible services provided by the district.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education authorizes the treasurer to enter into a contractual agreement with Sedgwick for workers' compensation and unemployment services for the annual contract period beginning January 1st, 2025.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the second reading and adoption of the following board policies as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes. Is there any other business?
No other business, just wanted to announce that myself and Mayor Van Kirk will be doing a combined State of the School, State of the City next Wednesday at 10 a.m. in City Council chambers. So everyone's more than welcome to attend. Very excited for that.
Okay, the next board meeting will be Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, in the Treasurer's Office Conference Room 9200 Bidoff Road, Brooklyn, Ohio, 6 o'clock p.m. The Brooklyn City School District Board of Education Board hereby recesses into executive session for the purpose of personal matters and considering the appointment and compensation of a public employee, RC 121.22. Upon conclusion of this executive session, the board president shall gavel the board back into open session at this location. All matters discussed in this executive session is designated to the public officials and employees as confidential pursuant to RC 102.03B because of the status of the proceedings and/or the circumstances under which the information will be received, and preserving its confidentiality is necessary to the proper conduct of government business. No action will be taken after executive session. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Israani?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. Crawl?
Yes.